Okay, so here I am in the form in the front end of the application, and I'm just going to go ahead and double click in a blank area there and open up the code here. This is apparently created before, like in an earlier version of Visual Studio, before they separated out all of the designer code from the main area where you code your application. So when you get an older application like this from me, just ignore all that designer code and stay out of there. You don't want to go tinkering around in there and then your form blows up and it can't be loaded. So just be careful. This shouldn't be an issue when you're building programs from scratch, which you'll be doing most of the time in your homework assignments and projects and that kind of thing. So anyway, down here is where it all begins. I've created an array of 3 basket objects. And I told you it was a small inventory with just 3 types of baskets, gift baskets. So there's the array to hold those basket objects. Just to remind you that, I've just created an array. It's like an empty array. Imagine an empty egg carton, but like just 3 slots, like a tiny egg carton with just 3 slots. That's what I have here. And I don't have any baskets in there yet. I'm about to turn around and create them in the form load event, which I'll do. And then current index, you remember this from last semester. If you're going to be going back and next, like we do in a lot of my applications, and you'll do in the homework assignment that you're given, then you'll create some kind of index variable to keep track of where you are in the array. So anyway, here I am in the form load, and this one, recall that in our class we had that instance variable that is in fact an array. I think it's called contains, and it's the items that are contained within this gift basket. So a gift basket has not only the name, the price, the number of shipping days, but also a small array that will hold the items that are actually coming with the basket. So what I've done here is I create just a little array of strings, just straight strings, and this is going to be for the chocolate supreme basket, the first basket. So I've called the array Chalk Soup, and these are the things that come in that basket: the cocoa mix, the frogs, the chocolate cake. So now I have this little array of strings. Finally, I'm ready to create an actual basket and put it in my inventory array, and that's what I'm doing on the next line. Remember the keyword new? I said that's like a magic wand. Every time you say new, poof, an object is being created in memory. Memory is set aside, and in this case we're putting in a call to that parameterized constructor, and I'm just passing the arguments one by one: the name of the basket, the price, the shipping days, the array with the 3 items, the frogs, the cocoa, and whatnot, and then the picture of that basket. So that's basically it. The rest of them are the same. Now I turn around. This is the golden gourmet basket. It comes with caviar and chocolate truffles and cashews. So I put those 3 items in just a straight little array of strings, and now I'm turning around and creating the second basket, and I'm passing those items to the constructor. So now the array is loaded up. Remember by the way, remember there's that inventory count. That's the static instance variable behind the scenes. All 3 baskets are looking at that same variable, and it has a 3 in it now because I've just created 3 baskets. Recall that when you access static data, and this is the static property, you don't access it with an actual object. You access it through the class name itself. That's the difference with static data. A difference with static data is you access it through the class name, not a specific object. Okay, so here is our usual update controls. Again, that current index variable comes in handy. So I don't know if I'm going to be on the first, the second, or the third, but this basket, that is, but this variable is keeping track of that for me. So every time I hit that back or next button, or the form loads or something, wherever that variable is, keeping track of where we are in the array, that particular basket is going to load the name, the price, the shipping time, the photo. Oh, and then here, look at this. This is where we have our little array of the contents of the basket, and this is the code here. I'm just looping through this little array. I know each basket has 3 items, but I don't want to take that for granted. The get upper bound with an argument of 0 is going to get however many items are in that contains array. Be it 3 or maybe there are more. We don't want to take anything for granted. So that's what that's about. The rest of this, I think, is code that you can pretty much understand, and then we are, oh, I have a, like, maybe this is not the most elegant thing, but I have like a kind of a tall label. I'll run it real quick so you can see. I have a tall label, multi-line label. And so when this update controls runs, it's taking a while to run, the label text is going to be concat. So all these items, the cocoa, the frogs, and whatnot, are going to be like concatenated. It's kind of like a growing string with new lines added in. So this is what I mean. This is like a tall, like kind of a square label like this. And so in this loop, it's just building these strings. It'll take the cocoa mix, and then append a new line, and then the frogs, and append a new line, and then the death by chocolate, and then a new line, and there's nothing after that. But so that's what this loop is doing. It's building this string with as it executes. Okay, so I guess that's the back and the next. Just this is all review for you, but remember, there are multiple ways of handling this. Going beyond the edges of the array. But I have a try-catch block here. Catching the index out of range exception. That's when you walk off the edge of an array, and we're going to catch that exception and handle it gracefully for the user. Same thing with the beginning of the array. And that's it for the form. I think in the next video I'm going to show you a print page, and that'll be that.